everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're going to be taking a look at Mannequeen's unaired underdog battles. I'm very excited about this. I have seen so many incredible battles come out of this crew just in the aired episodes, so I'm very excited to see what did not air and kind of give my feedback on it. Now, I do know I've already watched most of the other groups go. Pro of this is we get to see battles that did not take place on TV. Downside is we don't get a direct comparison between who they were against, so I can't really give my guess on who I feel won, especially because it's been a long span of me recording these videos. I don't have in good conscience, because I didn't see them side by side, to know who I truly felt won the battle. I will also say that based on what I've already been seeing, there are a couple battles that will pop up in this video that I have already done a battle analysis for, and I will attach those in the description of this video just so you can take a look at it if you want to get more of an in-depth kind of battle analysis between them and who they were up against. But enough of me talking, let's get into it. Let's go.
Why? Let's go. Yo, yo, yo.
Okay.
I'm a big deal.
Oh.
Face, eyes, thin, waist, thick, thighs. You, me, you, wish, you, from, who, this.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. I will say she's one of the more simpler whackers out of those that we've seen. Very clear though. Her choices feel very mature. But then I feel like she does have a little bit of a lag of movement in between her sequences. Okay, love her essence. Let me see. Punky Y. Okay, I don't want to say it wrong. It says Punky Y. Okay, I'll look up her name later. Let's look through this though. Okay, I have not seen her battle. I will say all of her fellow crewmates are like, girl, you got this, and they're like, let's go for it. I love the kick. I love that you, me, you, wish. I think that worked out with wordplay because she did the same thing for the word, which was nice. And she's like, back up. She is making very simple sequences, but you can tell that she is such an authentic pocket in whacking. That was nice. I do feel like it was a little bit like it needed to travel a little bit more in the ice, so it kind of felt a little scattered near that tail end there. That was fun. I love that. It's simple roll. She comes up. This was nice. Around. Yeah, I think she lost her balance a tad bit there. You can tell because she rocked back on her heels. And then from there, she stopped. I think this is a big killer of what she did, not in a good way. I feel like she just walked out of it and approached her when she really could have just kept in it and kept pushing through and approached that way. I feel like that was a really, not really rookie, but it was a very I can tell she's not super fluent in freestyle in comparison to her crewmates. But, you know, I do feel like some people here are a tad bit more forgiving of her because of her crew affiliation, because of how strong her other crewmates are, just like with, you know, Wolfla. I feel like they have that instance, and I feel like with Jam, with their presence too. So I feel like, do I feel like this was strong in comparison to her other crewmates? Not as much, but certainly I would say Red Elite was also not near as strong either for hers. But you know, her wordplay is nice, her essence is nice too, but I feel like she's losing her balance a lot here. And she's also doing this, I think, one too many times. I feel like she could have done, you know, kind of at least changing the hand or something. You know, that's just my preference here. Yeah, she also lost her balance there too, and she turned it. You could tell because she was kind of hinging back there. The split was a fabulous finish. Oh, Bucky. Okay, Bucky against Wolflo.
Oh.
Wow. like she's kind of riding in the chest a little too long. But there's a lot of percussion that's in that higher part, so it's really hard to not be affected by that. Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Over.
Okay, I don't, with that one, I feel this is very different pocket than what I was expecting in comparison to all of the other ones that we have seen from Mannequeen, which I like. This it shows your crew's versatility. I will say, like, this very beginning, I love this little hit here, but did I think she stayed there a little too long? Yes, I do feel that way. And she brought it around. You know, I do also feel too, notice with her waving pattern, she's not traveling it through the torso at all. They're kind of staying in the extremities. Yeah, I noticed that. Like, she kind of chills and keeps it here, which in waving, that's something you really want to avoid. You want it to make sure at least it exits somewhere or it resides somewhere with purpose. It just felt like she was just doing it to hit a technique or to hit a texture, right? Also, she's really caving a lot right here in the chest when I feel like she needs to travel, use the floor a little bit more. She's trying to get in her face a little bit more, which I understand, because when you really want to go up, when you're going up against somebody from Wolflow who are known in the battle culture, that is definitely something you want to hold your own on. And she's creating like this more intense staccato energy here too. A little bit of some crump nuance as well, you know. I just feel like she's kind of just throwing choices around. She's not really listening to her music, and I think that her opponent pointed that out too. I feel like she's not listening as well as she should be. She's not taking breathers. This is another example. I think I watched Subakill. There was a couple of their crewmates had this problem too, where they're just doing a little too much movement, and they're keeping it, you know, I know she's trying to do wordplay, but it's just how she's choosing to get out of it is very, it's just not connecting or making sense. So it's hard to justify the complexity. That's the big kicker in all of this too. When you want to go complex with your movement, I love that throw. That was nice. That was very clear. But when you're not, when you're trying to go complex, and I think I've said this before, when you're trying to go and make it a little bit difficult and really showcase yourself, you have to make sure that the other facets are in check as well. For a good example would be if you're trying to hit a particular sequence of waves or ticks or ISOs, you want to make sure what you do before and after also complement that complexity. Your transitions matter. How you go from point A to point B matters. It's just another way of putting transition. So I feel like she's not really paying as close attention to how she's going from point A to B as much as she should. I think she's just throwing movement, and I think her crewmates also saw that as well. You know, she really did her best to hold her own. Okay, we have seen this before. I have already given my feedback on this. This is just, Waxy really did so well on here. Ugh. I know this was Waxy's first round. I know that, ooh, that was so good. Her against Kirsten, I would say they both held their own. When you're seeing a first round, seeing them for the first time, I really feel like, you know, that was a legit toss-up for me when I saw them battle the first time. Do I think that she could have made a different choice with the head because she already did an accent with the head? Yes. I love that shift here. Very clear. I know she also takes the nuance with the fist and hits in the knee. So I'm not really going to touch on that one as much because I did a whole battle analysis on it. I will attach it in the description. Moving on. I feel like I think we saw all of Waxy's. I know we're not seeing her, what is it here? She's paying a little bit of ode to Kirsten. She's showing her versatility a little bit more. This is such a fun battle. That's, oh, with her dip, like that was disgusting. I'm getting chills all over again watching this. You know, she's using her hips a lot more here, which I think's really, like, you know. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like everything that I'm gonna say here I've already said because it was just such a good set from her. So we're just gonna move on from there. I love that they did a different song. I don't know if I've seen this one of her. That was nice. I will say she is choosing to kind of hit those patterns a little bit too... Yeah, this is where you're starting to see a lot of her fingerprints kind of get recycled here, because this song you wouldn't dance to the song as much. So you can tell her other styles are a bit underdeveloped in comparison to her whacking. And you see that, but she's using them to kind of enhance that. Now, I have absolutely no clue who she was against here at all. So I feel, let's just take a quick look at that. Yeah, I have literally no idea who she was against. Please let me know if you happen to know the answer to that, because it's just her by herself. I don't know. And she was facing the front the whole time. She wasn't really facing anybody. Yeah. So that was really nice, these choices, like she's hitting that boom, 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 and she's taking different approaches with it, which is, of course, honestly, I feel like she's doing the best she can within the wheelhouse that she represents. So for her, like I've already mentioned, whacking is her forte. This is what she does. She lives and breathes. I love those little boom, boom, boom. Like, I love the ISOs, that nuance or pay ode to that sound you want us to hear. Like, everything is so clear what she wants us to hear, but she's also not ignoring the other parts of the music. She's not just isolating a groove to a beat. She's allowing it to flow into another part of the music, and that's a sign of somebody who's very fluent in understanding how to freestyle. I love this so much. I love that there. She did boom, 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 and she allowed it to travel her all the way through. Rock and roll. I feel like she did something similar to that. Whenever you hear that, like when you do a lull in music, this is something I'm a huge sucker for. Whenever somebody does a huge lull, they do something that matches that lull. It's a form of wordplay or tone play is what I would call it. So just being able to see her do that, it is similar to something I've already seen her do, however, so that's just my big note for that. And then she did it again. So I think we just saw her do it twice. Yeah, and I feel like she did stuff on her knees a little bit already, especially with what we saw from Kirsten. I will say it just goes back to the other styles that she knows how to do. I don't feel that she's explored in freestyle nearly as much as she had with whacking. That's exactly how I am. Waving is the style that I personally explore freestyle with the most, with afro and whacking and house and light feet and popping and all of the other styles that I choose to be a student of and participate in. Those styles are definitely underdeveloped on my end in a freestyle context, even though in drills I have learned to understand the pockets way better. So the pockets are there, but I'm very simplistic in executing grooves, hence why I'm able to pick up on it whenever I see choreographers who don't freestyle, because I do the same thing. So that's my little secret. I do the same thing, and that's why I can tell. But with Waxy, she's taking a simplistic approach to some of these other styles, but she's so freaking good at whacking, which is why it's like she can cover that up a little bit better, you know what I mean? Because she can vary her whacking so well. It's so good. But also you gotta know that eventually you gotta bring something different to the table. If you keep going round after round after round, that's it's inevitable. It really is, especially a 7 to smoke. Like if you participate in that kind of battle, if you don't know what that is, a 7 to smoke is you have to beat people 7 times, like you beat 7 people in a row. But the tricky part about that is that you gotta kind of like beat them at their own game almost. So you really got to be a super diverse dancer in order to participate in those types of events. If you're definitely just in one specific niche, that event may shoot you in the foot long term because you're in battle, because it's either you get really lucky with your DJ or it's you get lucky with your opponents. But it really just stems back to eventually certain variations or things that you study within your discipline, you got to vary it up. That's why you do other styles to help enhance your style. And that's why you should never stop being a student. All that's to say, stay in school. not stay in school, but like stay educating, stay curious, because there really is not, even some of the best whackers in the world always have other styles that can enhance what they're good at. always. And I feel like in this context is a great example of how that can be utilized. So that's my little TED talk about that. Now it's readily. Okay, this is a different battle. Before I even watch this, I am really hopeful that she takes a different approach here and really redeems herself from what we saw before between her and Harimu. Here we go. I feel like she's got to stop doing that. That's what it's kind of a pet peeve of mine at this point now. I don't like it when they do that. She needs to stop doing that. You know, it's definitely just eating up time. And because of what we've already seen from her, I don't know if that other instance happened before this, but she's holding it down so much better in this round. I think it's definitely more like she holds it a little bit better here. Her grooves, her pockets are much nicer, and she's still dancing. Thank goodness. Okay, definitely a lot better from Relic than what we saw before. I don't know if they're gonna show it. Bless it. But let's talk about this one mighty fast. So I know that with this one in particular, she kind of got a little, you know, she's pulling some similar stuff that she's already done in a. You can tell she's a choreographer. Doing it once, that's one thing. Going up and doing it again, it's just never, especially in the same exact way. No, because this is her rhythm that she chooses to do. Love that sequence there. She comes back up. No, like she could have done so many other things. She could have walked around, you know, not doing the exact same thing. Making some choices. She's riding out the groove. She is, like, her pocket's really nice. She's taking more of an Afro approach, using more dance hall too. Using her influence of her hips a little bit better here, which is great, and it helps her keep going. Matches the music pretty good. However, is it more on the simple side? Yes. She's repeating a lot of grooves. She's hitting a lot of the similar accents that are in her music. So all in all, it's a pretty average run, but it is significantly better than what we've already seen from her. So yay, I kind of wish that was what we saw versus the other, but also the other one had more drama affiliated with it, of course, so that's why Mnet picked it. So all in all, definitely much more redeemable. Oh, we've already seen this, guys. I don't feel like I really need to touch on this one as much. So I'm assuming, I don't think they're going in like actual order. I think they're going in member order. So they're showing all of that member, which I actually really like. This was not her round. I don't feel like I need to talk about this as much. She's not doing as much. I also know there's a lot of tension, a lot of other things happening here. It's just not... That was just not the move for her. Like, that was a really hard watch, I think, for me, having to go back and watch that one. So, I still stand by what I said before about it. I really feel like with the other dancer, she got really lucky because she didn't really do a lot in that set. So I'm really happy for Redelic that we actually were able to watch one where she did hold her own a little bit better. Do I feel like she takes too many breaks? Yes, I do feel like she goes up and tries to, like, and that's just the thing at this point where I'm just like, don't try to do that if you can't own it. Is really what it is. It's just a huge bluff, and you really don't want to be known as somebody, or not known. You don't want to, like, come across in that way of, oh, she's just trying to bluff it, but, like, people won't believe you, obviously, because you're not hitting it. It's kind of like that. So I think, like, it's really good that we were able to see some progress already in that. And I know there were so many other circumstances in what we just watched. So all in all, I'm happy that I got to see a decent run out of Redelic. Okay, so this one, we've already seen, it was Yoonji between her and Kirsten. Now, she is hitting this music so well. She is hitting it, personally, I feel it's a little too aggressive for this song. I remember I watched a season 1 of somebody doing this, and I told you I was going to decide who I thought did it better, if I thought Yoonji did or her. Personally, I think Yoonji attacked this song really well. Don't want you. This was fun. I don't want you. Ooh! Hush, 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 hush. She technically didn't touch him at all. So, oh, we're about to get into Sarah. Okay. So going back to Yoonji. So what I said in the original battle, I think part of my vote, so I did vote Kirsten for this battle, but the reason why I did was because of the other etiquette, not because of the content displayed. So now knowing that Yoonji won this, it makes 100% sense that she did. So I'm not gonna back from my answer, you know, like I'm gonna stick to my guns on who I voted for. But honestly, Yoonji did deserve the win for this, like being completely real. If you just look at her shifts and this is also the first time that we've seen Yoonji, at least I don't know how many times we saw her, but like just didn't say, like just seeing that was just filthy. But I still agree, it's a little too forced in intention, right, in the techniques. Then I am personally wish that she subtly integrated into it, you know. Regardless, like that was a nice little moment here, and then she just pops off. I feel like that would have been more impactful if she wasn't so aggressive from the forefront, personally. But like her sequences are insane. I don't want you. They have to say hush, hush. Yeah, and she's like, no, we're not really battling anymore. I'm just going through this. She didn't touch Shonu, so I think that's fine. Yeah, so she decimated. She did really well in that, and it makes sense why she got that win. I may just turn into a fangirl here. I think Sarah's set was just so freaking gorgeous. I love this. This was so good. I will say she is her balance really hard to balance in these heels. I really wish she was more stable here. That would have made it just astronomically insane. I did call her Miss Flamingo just from this entire set. She is chilling right here on one foot, but also no, she lost her balance and then she re-caught it. Oh, I get to finally see this, yeah. Oh, I didn't hear that! That was, woo, hold on. We gotta go see that. There's only one thing I want to touch on. I've seen all this here. This was the easiest, out of all the whole battle, the easiest one was this one when it comes to just ability. Guys, that was really good. I think I was just too busy just being in awe over just the aesthetic of just her presence of just popping off, you know. And then just hearing that's just like a little cherry on top for me. That was so good. Honestly, Sarah, out of everybody's rounds, I technically only saw one of Sarah. I am gonna be honest, I wish that I got to see more of Yoonji, like seeing multiple rounds from her and seeing multiple rounds from Sarah. I'd say Waxy, I think she demonstrated fabulous diversity in her wax and in her control. I am very curious how those two, because I know they're also world-class battlers, I'm curious how theirs would have shifted over. I know there's battle footage. I'm just saying that I wish it was shown here, is my only thing. I have seen them personally in other contexts, but I really just do wish that we were able to see more of them outside of just what we have already seen just in the show. But also the show has an X amount of time, X amount of drama to get through. You know, it's TV. So anyway, the Mannequeen, super strong, definitely one of the strongest in the freestyle realm. And what I've seen from them choreographically, they hold their own mighty fine, and they're very competitive choreographically too, especially in effing over their competitors. I will say, I still say it. I don't know if you watched my K-pop challenge video. Mannequeen absolutely set Jam Republic up for like the hardest sequence to replicate for their challenge. I haven't seen season 1 yet. I will get to it eventually. I promise. I definitely will. But just like so far, they really are a competitor. One of the more well-rounded crews where they have their battlers, they have their choreographers, they have their dancers, things like that. So that's just my overall aesthetic with them. They freaking dominant. They did fabulous in their battles. They really did. Most of them did. A couple of them had really shaky, really kind of moments, but their other battlers really helped them with that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way. I have been thoroughly enjoying watching the battles and just watching more of the unaired ones too, especially in their uncut, so I don't get to miss out on really anything, and I get to kind of verify, especially because I've seen a lot of them already, verify kind of what I was feeling whenever I originally watched it. So that's been super cool. I'm always a fan of the discussions that we have, so I definitely look forward to seeing the discussions here. And I did save Mannequeen and Wolf Flow last. This was one of my last ones I wanted to react to on purpose, because based on who's been representing the freestyle realm the most, I really feel like this is kind of how I've been ranking, at least these last couple of ones. I really wanted to save them for last because so far what they demonstrated was really strong. And so, yeah, that's why I waited till the end of the week to post this one. So my apologies. I know some of you have been really waiting for this one. Sorry. But anyway, I will check y'all later. I'll see ya. Bye.